Okay, why do you think we remember things?
We remember things because we go through learning and feeling of our sensual remembrances, whether we visually see it, or we hear it, or we feel it physically or from the heart. That affects how we remember things and what we went through.
Because deep down, we know that it's something important and we're supposed to remember it. That's why we retain all the important information and forget all the not important information.
Because our brain is programmed to be able to learn and continue to grow. So in order for us to learn and continue to grow, we have to remember how things operate, how things work.
I think we remember things so that we can learn from those things that might have been mistakes, something might have happened, and use that experience in the future to better ourselves.
Because our brain remembers them.
At what age do you think we start remembering things?
Ooh. I think that as early as probably a month, 1 month old.
I remember back to 6, 5, somewhere in there. I guess the older you get, the more memories you have, and so the early ones go away.
It's probably a different answer by many different people. My earliest remembrance would be when I was 5 years old, because I think it greatly affected the event I went through greatly hurt me, and the impact it had had on my remembrance. And I would say earlier than that maybe would all just depend on the severity of the impact.
5.
Probably around 3 or 4 is probably when we start remembering things.
Why do you
Because there's so much stuff going on in our heads and we cannot remember all of it.
It was from a long time ago.
I think we could tend to forget as we get older because we have so much, or we think we have so much more going on. We tend to replace priorities, or replace, sadly, what's important with other things to maybe block out how we want to feel towards things. If we forget what's truly important, and that should be a priority, sometimes we think, oh, this takes precedence, or this should take precedence over that, and that's how we can sometimes forget. But also as we age, we maybe it is just a mind and a heart issue of just not having that sharp young remembrance like we used to.
Because we don't use our brain as much as we used to as we're growing up.
We probably forget things because we don't think about them every day, or we don't use them every day, and they just become irrelevant to us at that point, so we just forget.
What's the earliest memory you have, or what age were you?
Oh, man. The earliest memory I have. I would have to say I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and it was during the wintertime, and it had snowed in California, Southern California, and I fell in the gutter with all the water as the snow was melting.
I only remember pictures of the memory. Like I have picture books from when I was younger, and it has me doing things, but without that picture, I probably wouldn't remember.
The earliest memory I have is actually of my dog Tippy dying, my dad taking her to the vet and not coming back with her, so yeah.
When I was taking a bath.
Do you think we only remember what we want to remember?
Possibly, but not always. I can choose to remember certain things because of how it affects me or affected me. But I can also choose to tell myself and tell my heart, I'm going to push that aside, I'm going to push that to the back burner, and I'm not going to remember that. And that will tend to leave my list of remembrance over time. But if I also say, I want to remember this forever, this is the greatest memory, then I'm going to choose to remember that.
No. Plenty of things happen that I wish I didn't remember, but I still remember those too. I think you remember anything that's impactful on your
I
life.
think things that are I think things that impact us the most are the ones that we remember. I think we're selective in what we choose to remember.
We probably only remember what we want to remember, because if we remembered everything, it would just be a cluster up there and we couldn't focus. We remember the things that are important to us.